Hi friends, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge. This is the Vouking SamGun model TS05 made by STEDEMON knives. So it's got a long name. STEDEMON, that's the brand. Vouking is the line of knives that this one comes from. And this one's the SamGun. The model number on the blade, it says TS05. The whole model number is even longer. And then it's got the color labels at the end. It says right on the blade, 12C27N Sandvik steel. There's no such thing. You go to Sandvik's website and they've got 12C27 and they've got 12C27M. And the M is a designation of special steel designed for kitchen knives and designed to be safe in dishwashers. STEDEMON, what are you doing labeling it 12C27N when there's no such steel? I don't know. What we got is a titanium handle, stainless steel blade. It's got a full or a high flat grind. Technically it's not a full flat grind because there's a section from the base to about halfway down the blade where you've got a flat section near the spine. So technically it's a high saber grind. I'm calling it a full flat. I'm calling it a clip point because it's got a bit of a clip here, but it's well into the belly. So there's a long belly still, and then a long straight section. Flipper tab, and it's a frame lock with a pocket clip. So let's put this on the tabletop and take a good look at it. The review's coming right now. One of the first things to note is that this knife comes in 4 different colors. I got mine from White Mountain Knives. He carries 3 colors there. 2 of them are currently in stock. The green one is just out of stock right now. But from White Mountain Knives, which also has the best price on these, by the way, you can click their Notify Me button. You can click their Notify Me button on the page description for the specific color you want, and then they'll email you when they get them in stock. So that's a good thing. So I got to raise up the camera just a little bit here. There, that's a little bit better. Everybody can see everything. So first, let's start off on a size description, and I'll talk a little bit more later about the best places to buy it, and I will have links down below the video to make it easy to buy them. If we line up the pivot pins here, as you can see, the blade length is, well, it's actually about the same, but the handle comes out further on the Ontario Rat, and the handle goes back further on the Ontario Rat. But if we line up exactly where the grip starts on the handles, you can see, if we line them up there, if you don't count this round edge back here, the grip is actually identical in length on both these knives. And if you line up the length of the cutting edge, they're almost identical. So cutting edge length is the same on them both. Grip area is basically the same on these both. Just shows you how visuals can be very deceiving and lead you down the garden path on what you think you might be getting. Who would have thought that these 2 knives have got the same grip area and the same blade length when you see them next to each other? It looks tiny compared to this knife, but it's not. Not so much different. This is a frame lock knife. They've milled out some of the steel here to reduce the thickness so that they could turn that lock bar arm into a bit of a spring. So there's spring tension pushing down that way to lock the blade in the open position. We've got a titanium pocket clip that's right side only. Open pillar construction. Titanium handle scales. There's a little bit of a relief cut right there for your thumb to sit in there, which is pretty nice. And on the unlock side, there's again a little bit of a relief cut here. But I'll mention one of the cons right away in case I forget it later on. It actually is a bit of a challenge to get your thumb in there to unlock the knife. It's doable, certainly, but it should be easier to get in there. I wish they would have taken away some of the metal, some of the titanium on this show side here, just to get it easier to get your thumb in there. It is a flipper, and there's a bit of a jimping on there. And it's ball bearing construction. And it's a 12C27 blade, which I mentioned before, full flat stainless steel grind on it. So now let's take a closer look at some of these things. See if I can stay in focus here. So there's the pocket clip. You can see that it's mounted right there by one screw. There's a milled out section where it sits in. It's a nice clip. It's well done. It holds well. It's got good spring retention. It's got enough room for you to get your thickness of your pants in there, your jeans or even lighter pants for sure. The open pillar construction there, you see this hourglass shape pillars, two of them back there. It's a tiny bit of jimping on the end of the handle, which I like, but I wish there was much more of that done on this handle, because this handle's a bit smooth in the hand. I would like some jimping along here, whereas it's just smooth. And some along the spine would be nice, especially here at the back of the handle. You've got a bit of a chamfered edge. It's a bit of a concave cutout right there. Same thing on this side. Then you've got these two sections milled out here for decorative effect and, to lose a little bit of weight, I guess. The screws, as you can see here, are recessed. They're inset. I really like that an awful lot. And the screws are done to pretty high tolerances, so that's quite nice. The pivot pin, as you can see, it's smooth on this side, so you only adjust it on that side, so that helps when you take it apart. And then there's a lock bar insert. There's the screw for that right there. So you've got stainless steel touching stainless steel to hold it. That's good. If you look at this lockup right here, it's very good lockup. Lots of room for it to wear over time. Solid, no blade play, side to side, up and down, very good. Blade alignment when it's closed is very good. The light switch method works very well to open the blade to display it. It's a little bit harder with this being a little bit small here to use the push down method, where you push button method where you're pushing down. You always have to push back a bit anyways, but it works quite well. The detent on this knife is very good. It's almost a perfect detent. You can't grab the frame of this knife, make sure you're not holding onto the frame lock at all, and shake the knife and suddenly stop and have the blade come out, because the detent is just very good. I usually show the insides of the knife a little bit later on, but I'll show it to you now just after I show you another con. I don't like when knives are open at the front end here. As you can see the ball bearings, at least the cages that hold it. Because there's metal taken away over here all over the handle. And that's for this, see the bump right there? That's the stop pin. It's one of those blade stop pins. And I like that technology, so you can't see a stop pin back here. It's on the blade itself. But I don't like it when I just wish they would have made the handle come out a little bit further to hide all that. It would do a couple things. It would hide this line right here. It's hard to get the light just right for this shot. That line right there that the detent ball slides across, it would hide that, and it would make the end of the knife look cleaner. All you would see would be green and then that silver line. The other thing is, it's much easier to get dirt in there now. It's not hard to get dirt into a knife to start with, but why make it easier? So I do like the lock pins on the blade. I just don't like the way they made this one. So now take a look at the insides of the knife. So here's the inside of the knife. As you can see, there's no weight reduction inside here, nice and smooth. Lock bar insert, which is really good. Ceramic detent right there. And you've got ceramic ball bearings right here in probably a phosphor bronze cage. And there's those pins back here for the construction for the body. Here's a close-up of that lock bar insert, done quite well. There's a pin there from titanium to hold it in place, and then the screw so it doesn't move around. And then this piece sticking over here, that's an over travel stop so that the arm can't go back open too far and wreck. That's good. There's no Loctite in the threads at all. That's not a problem. They did put steel, probably stainless steel races in here so that the ball bearings don't rub on the titanium. And that will make it last a whole lot longer and stay smooth, good smooth action. It's a well-made knife. No qualms about the actual quality of the build. So decent. Actually, one cool thing that they saved money, and I don't mind this design at all. A lot of these knives where they've got the pin on the blade, it's actual steel from the blade, so the blade steel was thick. But that means this whole section used to be thicker and they had to mill it all down just for this. But this is just a screwed-in pin. And I don't think that's T6. I think it's even smaller than T6. This little screw head right there. That's the inside of the knife. Let's keep going. So I hope you like that. It's decently made knife. It's not great. The inside's very easy to clean for the most part because they don't have any recesses cut out there to lose weight. They've done that on the outside. So not bad. It's comfortable in the hand for the most part. The grips are okay, most grips. It's just a little slick, just a little smooth in the hand. I don't feel totally secure. Now let's go over all of the specs and stats on this knife. And while we're talking about the specs and stats, this will be on the corner of the screen. When this is gone, I'm done that part of the conversation. So like I said, 12C27 stainless steel, that has a Rockwell hardness between 53 to 59, maybe to 60. So usually it's 57, 58 Rockwell hardness for the steel. Totally fine with that. We've got that nice satin finish. We've got a balance point that is very good. Right there on the knife, not bad at all. If it's further forward, that's not good. So that's okay. The weight, 91 grams, which is 3.2 ounces. So nice low weight. The factory sharpness, 80 bess. That's an excellent factory sharpness. And we'll see one of the reasons why in just a minute. Actually, less than a minute probably. The cutting edge length and the blade length are very close to the same. 8.66 centimeters, 3.41 inches. The blade thickness is 3.23 millimeters. That's 0.127 inches. The blade depth, and I measure it about an inch up from the sharpness choil, which I haven't mentioned yet. It's a very good sharpness choil right there. And this dimension is 2.08 centimeters, which is 0.82 inches. The thickness of the steel right behind the grind, so right where my fingernail is there, 0.68 millimeters, which is 27/1000 of an inch. That's a little thicker than I like. I like the steel to become a little bit thinner before we have that final grind to the edge. The grind angle. Now this is quite unusual for a folding knife with 12C27 steel, 13.2 degrees on this side, 14.3 degrees on that side. That's very shallow. A lot of people say EDC knives should be 20 degrees per side. It's over 12 degrees less. So that makes it have a fine angle, which makes that edge a little bit more delicate. It's more like the kind of angle that you want on a kitchen knife where you're cutting through vegetables or you're cutting through meat and you're not hitting hard things. Unknowns for EDC carry, I like to have a little bit more robust of a blade. Especially with the steel, I would go no finer than about 17 degrees per side. And this is 13.2 and 14.3. So I'm not too fond of the grind angles on there, but it's not crazy. And of course, you can change those grind angles the first time you sharpen your knife when it needs it. Now for the handle length, 10.83 centimeters, that's 4.265 inches. The grip area in here, this is a little more subjective, right around 9.5 centimeters, which is about 3 3/4 inches. So a lot of grip area. My hands are between large and extra large, and there's knife sticking out still, and it's up to the sharpeners, up to the flipper tab right there. Or if I hold it this way, there's knife handle left over, So the length is no problem for the handle. The handle thickness, without the pocket clip counted 1.23 centimeters, 0.484 of an inch, so just under half an inch. Very good. The handle depth is biggest right about there, and that is 2.05 centimeters. That's 0.81 of an inch. When the knife is closed, not counting the flipper tab sticking out, This dimension is 2.4 centimeters, 0.945, so just under an inch. And the total length of this knife, oh, I forgot to put the inches on, 19.5 centimeters long. And that equals, a 1/16 under 7 3/4. So that's not bad at all. How much does this knife cost? Well, it depends on where you go shopping. I got mine at White Mountain Knives, and they charge $59.99 base price for this knife, but you can get 10% off when you use coupon code CCE, and then the price is $53.99. So $53.99, that's the very best price I could find for this knife anywhere on the internet. I found some others that were close, but couldn't beat this. Amazon has it starting at $62.35. So instead of $53, it's roughly $10 more on Amazon US. Amazon Canada has it for like $115, $121, depending on the color. Canadian dollars, that is. Most of my prices are US dollars unless I say otherwise. Blade HQ's got a decent price, $59.95. So that's close to the price you can get at White Mountain, but it's more. DH Gate, $78. So be careful where you buy your knives. I'll try to have some links for outside of North America as well, if I can find them. Look below the video. So overall, what do I think? I think it's a little bit too smooth on the handle, but it's got a really good look. The blade's got a really good shape. It's a robust blade here. The tip is done very well. You get your full thickness of the steel until you get closer to the tip here. And then you get that last bit of taper right on the end right here coming down to the tip. It's got decent steel. It's got well-made sharpener's choil, well-designed tip, good belly, long, nice straight edge. The flipper works. They couldn't have made the flipper any smaller and have it still work. So it's right on the edge of just being barely big enough, but I don't mind it. And it's got a good look to it. I think that the lock arm, like I said before, needs a little better access or something. I don't know. Pocket clip. Oh, actually, I didn't show you how well the pocket clip works. The pocket clip actually works really good. So let's demonstrate how well the pocket clip works. Just slides right in. It can sometimes, like right there, if your pockets are quite thick, it gets caught up on this little bit of where these 3 cutaways are. And I don't know why. It just happens sometimes. It's not a big deal, but it works quite well, and just a little bit of the handle sticking out. The green anodization on here is very even. I don't know if it looks that way on this video, but in person it looks really good. Nice clean lines on there. Solid lockup. Like I said, no blade play. Good detent. Good blade centering. High quality screws that are recessed and looks good. It's well made. Like I said, the cons are a little slick. No left side for the pocket clip. And not enough good access for the lock bar release. Wish that was a little bit better. Oh, and the last thing, I'm not really that fond of this big open area here. So it's got a number of small cons, but none of them are big enough for me to say, I don't want this knife. I actually like this quite a fair bit. It's within the budget range. And if you're looking for something like this, as long as you can deal with the cons that are on here, if the pros outweigh it for you, then go ahead and buy it. Made by STEDEMON. You've got the Vouking logo right there. And then there's a little bit of text right there saying the blade steel and TS05. So the most writing is here on the pocket clip. So that's not too bad. I prefer to have as little writing on knives as possible. The fact that you can get it in several colors is really good. They've got similar knives to this. I don't know if it's the exact same model, but one that looks very close to this. It's got M390 steel. Of course, that costs more. So go ahead and check out the Vouking knives at White Mountain Knives. You might find something you like. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb. Bye for now.